Well, the Golden Knights are historically awesome. Now, that's not my opinion. It's a fact. At 7-1 and winners of 4 straight, the G-Knights own the best start for an expansion team in NHL history. And that deserves a hand clap from me. Welcome to Golden Edge. Let's look back. Let's look forward. I'm Brian Salmon. And folks, these are my Golden Edge experts. Golden Knight beat reporter, this is Steve Carp here. We have NHL writer for ReviewJournal.com. We have David Schoen over here. Guys, since our last show, the Golden Knights took on the St. Louis Blues, a team that we said, hey, when they play them, we'll know something about this team because St. Louis was 5-2 entering that game. Steve, they won that game. Did we learn anything about the team?
Yeah, that they have more depth in goal than we thought because they lost their goalie, Malcolm Subban, with 9 minutes to go. And Oscar Dance stepped in and held the fort down until they won it in overtime.
Okay, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Now, David, Oscar Dance came in. Obviously, the very first shot that he faced, it went in. Not the way that you want to start your career, but I mean, he finished that game and he won the game for the Golden Knights. His second game, which is the first start of his career, he played well as well. What do you think about the way that Oscar Dance is filled in as the third string goalie for the Golden Knights?
I don't think Ken Dryden or Marc-Andre Fleury or Grant Fuhr or anybody else would have stopped that first shot, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it was a toughie.
But he played really well, and he basically earned the start against Chicago by how well he played against St. Louis. You know, he had an opportunity, he seized it, and, you know, I think what we've seen and what Gerard Gallant's going to do going forward is kind of ride the hot hand and hey, if he's playing well, keep going with him.
All right, so we kind of look back a little bit. Looking forward now, the Golden Knights have one more home game, the last of the 7-game homestand that they've had thus far. My question to you, really, Steve, is the fact that they're playing against a Colorado team. How important is it to get that win before they head out on the road? Because obviously every game's a big game, but to kind of keep the momentum going before they have that very, very tough stretch.
Well, it's been a great homestand, Brian, no matter what happens tomorrow. But yes, this is a team that should be able to beat at home, and you definitely want to have momentum going into this road trip because it's going to be a toughie. 2 games in New York, game in Boston, then up to Canada to play Ottawa, Toronto, and Montreal, 3 and 4 nights. It's going to really test them for class and for endurance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 6 straight games on the road after a 7-game homestand. It's definitely going to be tough. What do you think about the fact that, I mean, obviously Marc-Andre Fleury has been out with a concussion. One, do you expect him back soon?
Soon, but
With a soon, yeah.
well, we don't. We're dealing with a concussion. It's not a pinky. It's not a leg. It's not a lower body injury or all those other kind of hockey terms that they put on it. We're talking about a concussion. So there's protocol and there's procedures and all of the other things the NHL kind of steps in and make sure that guys are not going on the ice too soon. So until we see him at practice, and we haven't even seen him at practice yet, we can't even talk about him coming back.
Okay, now we're kind of looking at the standings right now. I know it's very, very early, but looking at the Western Conference, the Pacific Division, one, do you think it's too early, very, very early for people in Las Vegas to kind of think like, man, this team is an expansion team, but I mean, look at where they're at. Can we look towards the playoffs, or what do you think? I've heard 80 to 85 points is somewhere where they should probably look at 90 to 95, 100 to 100.
About 95-ish last year.
Okay.
94, 95 last year. So, they still have a ways to go.
Wow.
But like Steve said, they've kind of got a head start. And, when they hit a couple bumps, when things get a little tough in January, maybe they have a few more injuries and lose a few games. They're ahead. They got a head start.
Okay, so let's look forward. We've looked forward a little bit, but let's look forward to the next 2 games that they have until the next time that we talk about on the Golden Knights show. Up next, of course, they have the Avalanche. That's on Friday. We have then the road trip, the Islanders, and then the Rangers. I guess first things first, as far as a road trip, the teams that they're starting off with, the Islanders and the Rangers, I know you're a New Yorker, but they're not really playing all that well right now.
The Islanders are.
The Islanders are.
I don't know what standings you're looking at. The Rangers are struggling.
That's what I was talking about, the Rangers. I'm talking about the team that's... Yeah.
The Islanders playing in the most funky building in the entire league. Okay, they have the worst ice in the NHL. Nobody goes to the games. The backdrop is all black because of the nets. It's hard to pick up the puck. I'm being dead serious when I say this. This is not an easy place to play. Plus, they are every bit as gritty as the Golden Knights are. And they have a superstar in John Tavares, something the Golden Knights do not have. So to overlook the Islanders, would be a big mistake by the Golden Knights.
Okay.
Now, the Rangers, they're another story. They are a seasoned veteran team that has underachieved so far. Their goaltender, Henrik Lundqvist, who's a future Hall of Famer, is having a tough time. He's 35 years old. He's not seeing and stopping the puck like he has in the past. There's a game they may be able to steal, even though it's on a back-to-back.
I mean, last time we talked, the Blues was kind of like the litmus test of, like, we'll know what this team is. Now we have a 6-game road trip. Will we then find out, okay, we really know what this team is all about, even though it's not the toughest of teams on the road.
You know, you build character. You find out more about a team truly when they're on the road. You have to be good to win on the road. That just, you know, that extends in any sport. Hockey's no different.
Okay, all right. Really quickly, before we wrap this up, I'm going to give you a chance to give me a prediction of the 3 games that they have coming up. Not the entire 6, but the 3 games, including the one at home. What do you think that they go?
I think they win tomorrow against Colorado. I think they lose to Brooklyn, and I think they win at the Garden on Tuesday.
Okay. All right, what do you think, David?
I think they get 3 points out of it.
3 points, so, okay, yeah.
I'll leave it, I don't know where that I think they win tomorrow, and I don't.
3 ties?
No, I think they win. I think they win
in
tomorrow, and then they get a point between the 2 New York games.
Okay, all right. Well, there you have it. This is Golden Edge Look Back, Look Forward. Of course, we have the Golden Knights beat reporter, Steve Carp. We have NHL writer for Review Journal. This is David Schoen. I'm Brian Salmon for Golden Edge. We're going to go ahead and go to a break, but when we come back, we will have the voice of the Golden Knights, David Goucher.
Toyota's National Clearance Event is on now. Get great deals on the remaining 2017s.
Get 0% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2017 RAV4.
Learn more at Toyota.com.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Golden Edge. Today we have a very special guest, Dave Goucher, the voice. This guy's got a wonderful voice. The play-by-play announcer for the Golden Knights. I appreciate you coming in. First things first, the Golden Knights, 7-1, the best start of any expansion team in the history of the NHL. Mind-blowing to me. How about you? I mean, it seems like it's got to be a shocker.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal, right? I mean, I think when you came into it, you thought they were going to have a good team,
yeah.
But or a team that could compete. There's a difference between competing and being 7-1, and you know, I think if they maybe took some people by surprise early, they just beat St. Louis and Chicago back-to-back games.
Yes.
So to beat those 2 teams, which are perennial top contenders in the Western Conference, I think if that doesn't get your attention, if you're from the outside looking in, then you're not paying attention. So, you know, they've done it a lot of different ways. They've done it with 3 different goaltenders winning games, which is nuts, to be honest with you.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Especially this early. You know, they haven't even hit the 10-game mark yet, but you know, Riley Smith's probably been their best overall player, most consistent player. James Neal was huge early.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So he's a lot of people's guys, especially in the first few games. But you know, it's been great to see. Hey, look, at some point it's gonna come back the other way a little bit, but that's okay. You know, they've been able to put a lot of points in the bank early, which has been nice to see. It's early, and I want to stress that. But hey, look, you have to live in the present.
No parade?
Right? Not yet. They're not planning the parade down the strip just yet. But you know, give it time. But I will say they have bought into what Gerard Gallant and his coaching staff are selling, and they put a premium on having good people and good players here, and especially in light of what's gone on this month, they were really forced. They wanted to be in the forefront of trying to help people feel a little better, even if it's just a couple of hours a day. And you know, so far for the most part, they've been able to do that.
You talked a little bit about it, Oscar Dance, when he came in. As an announcer, you're watching the game. This guy's he's green as green can be. First shot that he faces when he comes in from Malcolm Subban, he goes in net. And then his very first start, I think it was the first or second shot, his very first start the next game was a goal as well.
Yeah.
You can just kind of talk about how mentally tough this kid has been to have those kind of starts and still play as well as he's played throughout those games, like into overtime, then obviously the full game he started.
Yeah, he said that, you know, we asked him the other day about what was going through your mind when you saw Subban go down. And he thought, well, first, he wasn't sure how serious it was, but he wasn't moving that great. So in a way, maybe it was better. He was joking around that he didn't have a lot of time to think about it. And as I say, some of the timely saves he made against a team that, you know, can light you up, you know, if you're not on your game, he was impressive.
Well, one guy who's not getting out the door anytime soon, Dave Goucher, the voice for the Golden Knights. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much.
You bet. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.